The judge was seconds away from deciding my fate, and with it, the fate of my little girl. My heart pounded so hard, I thought it might crack my ribs. Papers shuffled, lawyers exchanged quick glances, and every whisper in that courtroom cut like a knife. Everyone seemed ready to move on. Everyone except me, because I knew if things ended here, I was going to lose her, my daughter, my 8-year-old Lily. The custody battle had been dragging on for months, draining my energy, my money, and my spirit. My ex-husband, Daniel, walked into the courtroom every day with polished shoes, a pressed suit, and a smile that fooled even the most skeptical eyes. To the world, he was charming, responsible, and respectable. To me, and to Lily, he was something else entirely. Behind closed doors, that charm cracked. His anger lived in the shadows, and it showed in the way he slammed doors, the way he raised his voice until the walls shook, and the way his hand gripped too tightly when no one was watching. I tried to explain it all to the lawyers. I begged the court to listen. But how do you prove fear? How do you show the nights when Lily crawled into my bed trembling after he screamed at her? Or the time she drew a picture of our family and in the corner, there was a shadowed figure with no face. I kept that drawing, hidden in my purse as a reminder of what we were fighting for. The opposing lawyer stood tall, his voice smooth and commanding. Your Honor, we've heard endless claims from the mother, but nothing backed by fact. She is unstable, emotional, and unfit to provide the structured environment this child needs. My client offers stability, financial security, and love. We respectfully ask the court to grant him full custody. Each word struck like a hammer, building a wall between me and my daughter. My lawyer shifted uncomfortably, whispering that we were running out of ground. And then I saw it. Daniel's smirk, that smug curve of his lips that told me he thought he'd already won. The judge glanced at his notes, his tone flat. If there are no further statements, he paused. For me, time slowed. The end was coming, and I had nothing left to give. My throat ached with unshed tears. My hands clutched the edge of the table so tightly my knuckles turned white. I prayed silently, desperately, for something, anything to change. And then the sound of small footsteps broke through the tension. Everyone turned. Lily was standing, my little girl, dressed in a simple yellow dress with her hair in braids, clutched her stuffed rabbit against her chest. Her voice was small, but steady. Excuse me, Your Honor, can I say something? The room froze. Whispers rippled through the gallery. Even Daniel blinked, his smirk faltering. The judge raised his eyebrows, adjusting his glasses. Lily, this is unusual, but if you have something you'd like to share, the court will hear you. She nodded, her braids swinging as she walked to the center of the courtroom. My heart nearly burst out of my chest. Every instinct screamed to run and hold her, to shield her from the weight of this moment. But she stood tall, her little shoulders squared, her rabbit trembling in her grip. Everyone keeps talking about Mommy and Daddy. They keep saying who's better, who's worse. But nobody asked me. The judge leaned forward, his pen hovering. Go on, Lily. She took a shaky breath, her eyes scanning the room before settling on the floor. I love my daddy, but he scares me. The gasp that followed was audible. Daniel's face drained of color, his jaw tightening as he tried to mask his shock. His lawyer opened his mouth to object, but the judge raised a hand sharply, silencing him. All eyes were on Lily now. When people visit, Daddy smiles. He buys me toys, he says he loves me, But when the doors close, it's different. He yells, he throws things, he locks me in my room when I cry. Her voice cracked, but she pressed on, clutching her rabbit tighter. He told me if I told anyone, he'd take me away from Mani forever. Tears stung my eyes. I wanted to rush to her, to shield her from the weight of her words. But I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. The entire courtroom sat in stunned silence, each word slicing through the lies that had filled this room for months. Her eyes glistened as she continued, her voice trembling but fierce. Mommy never hurt me. She sings to me when I have nightmares. She makes pancakes with smiley faces. She tells me I'm safe, and I feel safe with her. She turned then, her gaze locking with mine, her little voice breaking into a whisper. I want to stay with Mommy. Please. The silence that followed was heavy, suffocating. Even the sound of shuffling paper stopped. Daniel shifted uncomfortably, his lawyer frozen in place. His family, who had sat behind him with smug confidence, now avoided eye contact, their whispers gone. The judge sat back, removing his glasses. For a moment, he didn't speak. He simply stared at Lily, then at me, back at the trembling child clutching her rabbit like a lifeline. Slowly, he set his pen down. His voice, when it came, was lower, heavier. Thank you, Lily. That was very brave. The opposing lawyer tried again, his voice cracking with forced calm. Your Honor, with all due respect, children are impressionable, they exaggerate. Enough! The judge snapped, his gavel striking once with a sharp crack. His eyes were steel as he looked at Daniel. The testimony of this child cannot be ignored. The air shifted. Relief surged through me like a wave, but I didn't celebrate yet. I couldn't. Not until I heard the words I had been waiting for. The judge took a deep breath, his tone final. This court rules in favor of the mother. Custody is hereby granted. The sound that left my chest was half sob, half scream. I buried my face in my hands, my body shaking with relief, exhaustion, and overwhelming love. Daniel shot to his feet, his face twisted with rage, but the bailiff stepped forward, blocking him. His lawyer looked pale, his papers limp in his trembling hands. And then Lily ran to me. I caught her in my arms, holding her so tightly I thought I might never let go. Her little voice whispered against my ear, Did I do okay, Mommy? Tears streamed down my face as I kissed her hair. You did more than okay, baby. You saved us. We walked out of that courtroom together, hand in hand. For the first time in months, the weight pressing down on my chest lifted. The battle wasn't just about legal rights or paperwork. It was about truth. And it was Lily, my 8-year-old, who had the courage to speak it when no one else would. And as we stepped into the sunlight, I realized something I'll never forget. Sometimes the smallest voice in the room carries the biggest truth. A child's innocence has the power to silence lies louder than any lawyer, any accusation, any polished speech. That day, it was Lily's voice, not mine, that made the judge fall silent. And if you're watching this right now, I want you to think about this. Would you have believed an 8-year-old in court? Would you have trusted her voice over the adults who seemed so convincing? Tell me in the comments what you would have done if you were the judge, because I want to know how you see the truth. And if Lily's courage touched you, don't just scroll away, but share the story so her voice echoes far beyond that courtroom. And if you believe in truth, in courage, and in the power of family, hit that subscribe button right now because more stories like this are waiting and you don't want to miss the next one.